I'm doing this video in a different room. The reason for that is because like my neighbors' kids are very loud for some reason. So whatever, I'll adapt. You know what I mean? So anyways, these are my top 10. So anyways, I wanted to make a quick video, just really discussing, the top 10 books of the year for me. I read around 70 books, and I feel like there were just those 10 that really stuck out to me, like the ones I remember, and I'm glad that I read, and so I just wanted to share those. In this video, what we're specifically going to look over is just like 5 non-fiction books, and in the next video, I'm gonna talk about the fiction books that I really liked. So let's start with the first one. I actually don't have it on me right now. I gave it to my girlfriend. She's gonna read it right now. I think it's called Illness as Metaphor by Susan Sontag. What was so brilliant about that book is it just really discusses illness in a different way. It focuses on how we discuss it, and it treats it very seriously, because it is a serious discussion, and there's certain ways that we talk about it that we it's such a damaging way of talking about it. And I feel like Susan Sontag is really good at emphasizing what we're doing wrong and what things we could do to maybe fix it. Part of the thing that she's doing is just be straightforward, and her whole argument is just really well made, and her writing is just really clean and complex. So you're gonna get a lot of like depth from her essay, but it's not gonna confuse you on what she's trying to say. And I just love that from all her work, really. But that essay really stuck out to me. And then the next one I want to talk about is actually this one right here from Steven Pinker. If you look at Goodreads, Bill Gates is actually I think #1. I think he's up there on the review thing. Everyone obviously knows Bill Gates, so he rose to the top of the reviews or whatever. And he really likes this book. You can read his whole, thing about it. And yeah, it's pretty nice. Especially I read it, obviously this year. I read it, well, last year I guess now. I read it last year, and one thing that is just really enjoyable about it is that you feel like you feel less hopeless. You know what I mean? I feel like I and a lot of people kind of need that right now with the whole COVID thing and people not taking it seriously. But one thing that I didn't like about it is that it said, and he makes this point, you'll see Steven Pinker talk about this in his little I guess they're almost like lecture. He presents his book, and one point that he makes pretty frequently when he's in his speeches is that progressives hate progress. That's a key point that he keeps putting out there. I don't know. It's really weird because I feel like he's trying to be political. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really annoying. I hate it so much. It's not that it's not just because I disagree. It's just because it sounds ridiculous. But whatever. That led me to this book or whatever, right? By Nathan J. Robinson. He is editor. It says right here, editor of Current Affairs. You probably can't read that. Whatever. And he's pretty good, honestly. If you guys go to currentaffairs.com and read his stuff, it's so brilliant. And not just his stuff, but the whole team that he has, they do some great work. And in this essay, one reason I really liked it is that he kind of talks down on Steven Pinker for writing that specific statement, and because he brings it up too, that's part of the reason. He argues that it's not that progressives hate progress. That's obviously not what's happening. What's happening is that even though they can understand that things are getting better, it's well, yeah, cool, but they want it to be at its best. You know what I mean? And like that's why they're so upset. Like they know the potential that this country, that the world, just potential in every single person is being wasted, right? And Nathan J. Robinson, he just has a very clear voice, and he says like it's not that they hate progress, like like what does that even mean? What they hate is to see so much potential being wasted, and like people are still suffering. That's the thing, right? Like, cool, we made a lot of progress from like hundreds of years ago, and like, well, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's not really a revolutionary thought or anything. But either way, that's not just the reason why I really like this book. I just think Nathan J. Robinson, he's genuinely doing like the work that I wish I could do. Like, he is writing some brilliant stuff, and he's just I feel like he's fighting for things that he really cares about, and I honor him for that so much. Please go to Current Affairs and read some of his stuff. He's absolutely just he's so worth listening to. Another book, and I don't have this one like on me. It's not because it's a what's it called, ebook or whatever, that I got from ASU, but I also thought it was pretty brilliant. It was called what's it called? Oh, Marx Was Right by Terry Eagleton. I just love that book so much. Recently, I have been studying some Marxist theory, and one reason that I started studying it is because I feel like Karl Marx is just hated so much, and I don't understand why. Like the thing I don't understand about it is that people seem to be automatically against him. I'm like, do you guys just completely understand his philosophy and therefore you want to hate it? Like, you understand it so much, they're like, yeah, that's awful? Or did you really, like, what happened? Did you actually read into it, kind of thing? And, no. You know what I mean? Not really. It doesn't seem like that's what happens. There's, like, this automatic hatred. And so when you read that book by Terry Eagleton, it does a really good job at, like, showing what people think of Karl Marx and then what Karl Marx was actually all about. Like, every single chapter has like this like little paragraph in italics, kind of like summarizing what people typically say, it's almost like a little parody of what they're saying without like, super parodying it. Like, he's being honest in how he represents what other people think of Karl Marx, and then he just counters that point and really shows what Karl Marx was all about, like what he thought, like what his whole theory of history was, like all that stuff. And I really appreciate that book. Very informative and very just a smart book, to be honest. It was really good. It was perfect for me, to be honest. And this other book, I'm just adding this in here because, like, I don't know, I just really liked it. It's again, you probably can't read it. I have no idea how good that camera is, but whatever. The introvert advantage or whatever, how to thrive in an extrovert world. So I feel like I like that one in a very personal sense, right? Like, I'm introverted, you know what I mean? I stay home all day, and I like that. Like, people don't really get that for some reason. Like, I like being, like, this is where I like being, you know what I mean? Like, for any event, I would rather stay home. I don't know why I'm like that. It's just, well, I'm an introvert. I actually do know why. But yeah, that's how I am, and it does a lot for me, this book, honestly. What this book does for me is makes me feel just like, okay, even though that the world kind of inclines to, I don't know the right word, it's like this world feels shaped for extroverts, and like for their enjoyments and for like, their characteristics. Like, if someone's outgoing, it's like, oh, he should be working this higher position because he knows how to work with people. Or like, oh, like they have like, they seem really like cool because they're always talking to people, or like, what I mean? There's like a real charisma to extroverted people, while introverted people are more like sketched as like, they're more sketched as like weird, and like kind of sucks. But either way, there are ways to like survive in this world, and to like figure out ways to do extroverted things without feeling exhausted. If you're not introverted, like I feel like it's kind of like confusing what I'm saying. But if you are introverted, I feel like this book, honestly, it's definitely worth reading if you're introverted. Even if you're not, like you want to understand what the hell I'm talking about, then yeah, you know, read it. And those are all, you know, the 5. No, it slid away. Those are all the 5 nonfiction books. Subscribe, like, whatever, all that stuff. I'm gonna post another video in probably like a few days, and those will be top 5 fiction. Or not top 5, you know what I mean. There's a lot of top 10, but those will be purely fiction. And yeah, thanks for watching.